another common talking point is, Trump is pulling out the National Guard. Why didn't he do that on January 6th? Trump, in fact, did the opposite. He pardoned all the lawbreakers on January 6th. And now look over here, he's cracking down just because these are people politically on the other side. But what this misses, I think, and the whole January 6th parallel is itself interesting. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more in the next day or two. But the first thing to notice about the January 6th parallel is that Trump did, in fact, sign an authorization. I'm looking at it right in front of me. It was a memorandum for the Secretary of the Army coming from the Secretary of Defense. And it says very clearly that Trump is authorizing the use of the National Guard. He's authorizing the deployment of forces. Now, evidently, that had to be approved by Nancy Pelosi's office and by the mayor of D.C. They did not approve it. That is why the National Guard was not deployed on January 6th. But the January 6th parallel, to me, is illuminating in other ways as well, because I think that the prosecution of the January 6th defendants sets a new kind of template that needs to be applied against these democratic rioters. And I don't just mean the rioters. Remember, on January 6th, they didn't just go after the people who were violent. They went after a lot of people who were completely non-violent. Julie Kelly has been posting about this, and I printed out an example or two from Julie Kelly, but let me just highlight here. This is an example that she gave this morning. She goes, former NYPD officer and Marine veteran Thomas Webster was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison for a minor scuffle with a DC cop on January 6th. Webster had no criminal record, and he was also denied release and incarcerated pending his trial. So this is the January 6th playbook, which Julie Kelly spells out with some more detail. Pre-dawn raids with armored vehicles, dozens of armed agents to terrorize the whole family and the neighborhood, hauling off the suspect who was then arrested, charged, and denied release, put in a gulag for months and in some cases years, and then basically bludgeoned into a plea deal or convicted by a jury made up of jurors entirely hostile to the suspect's political beliefs. And then this so-called domestic terrorist is sentenced to a long jail sentence with a terrorism enhancement added for extra kicks. Now, I'm saying all this because this is exactly what I think Pam Bondi and Kash Patel should, and Dan Bongino, this is what they should be going for. This is what they should be doing. This is how they should be responding. It's not simply a matter of firing some gas and some water hoses and calming the situation down. It's a matter of making an example out of LA, making an example out of all these people, showing the Democrats, if you really want to have equal justice under the law, all right, well, what is the standard of equal justice? Well, the standard is, let's look at how your side treated our side.